With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Rap Podcast, the place to catch up on all the regional and national rugby in Wales. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms and message us through there if you want, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. So all the boring stuff out the way, let's talk rugby. Hello and welcome to the Rap Podcast, a very special bonus podcast this week for the start of the Women's Six Nations just around the corner. So joining me as usual, Jamie is not with us. Reese and Carwyn are here. I know, it's been a long day, gents. It's been a long day. Evening, gents. How are you?
We're well.
Not too bad.
Good. So we've been saying about getting women on, women players, women coaches for God knows how long, since we started doing the pod. And then Welsh Rugby decided to go and do what Welsh Rugby does and just give us about 3 or 4 episodes a week worth of melodrama. So this is our first real opportunity to get a proper women's rugby player on. And this week we've got Christy Haney, Irish international, Leinster captain. Welcome to the pod, Christy. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I'm the first of many women to grace your podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping to do quite a few through the Women's Six Nations because it's really taken off the last kind of 12 months, hasn't it? And how's it been for you, kind of living through it with the last 12 months and the excitement that's around the women's game now?
The last 12 months it's been crazy and it's been busy, but it's been great to see the growth in the game. And I joined rugby back in 2012, and it's been great to see even in the last 10 years the growth in the women's game. So it's taken off in the last year, especially in Ireland, and it's been great to see and be a part of it.
So take us right. I don't think people really know your story because I was reading up on it and I was like, "Oh, this is just fantastic stuff." How did you get involved in the game?
Yeah, so I started when I was 18 back in the States. I went to the University of Virginia and I went for school primarily, and then when I got there, I joined the rugby team as kind of an afterthought. Nearly, I was looking for a new sport. And the recruiting table had a very cute fluffy dog at it. So I said, why not? I'd give it a shot. I remember my first session down with the coaches, and one of them pulled me aside. Nancy came over to me and she said, "You don't have to be gentle anymore." And I was like, fantastic. So that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. But yeah, that's where it started. I had 4 really, really good years in the States. And then I came to Ireland to get a master's degree in structural engineering. And, you're away from home, you're away from friends and family. So I joined the rugby team, and that's kind of history from from there on in. For me, I played for St. Mary's and then for Blackrock. Got really involved in Blackrock in their minis program. Got the opportunity to play for Leinster as well. So it's just been like rugby has brought so many great things into my life. I've been very thankful for it.
Absolutely. And so, how long did it take you to get to where you are now? This is a question from my daughter. And how committed were you? But what advice would you give to any aspiring young girls wanting to play rugby and reach the very top?
I think with any sport, you kind of go through waves of it. So at some points, it's you live, breathe, sleep, and eat rugby. And at other points, you have to, if you get an injury, you have to pick it up. You do have to take that step back. So it's been, it's definitely had those turbulent times. But I've always had such a great relationship with rugby that you keep coming back for, you keep looking for more and getting that positive feedback loop from playing the sport. And for young girls, and I just love team sport for the confidence that it gives you, for that exposure to diversity, especially in rugby. It's such a good sport that it pulls backs and forwards together with different skill sets. Like I'm never going to be the fastest. I'm never going to be the best at kicking the ball, but I might be the best at tackling, and pair that up with somebody else and we make the best team. That's such a great concept for life as well as for sports, that I think it's so important for young girls and for young boys to just get involved in it and get stuck in.
Happy days. Reese, you got a question there. Reese,
I was just going to ask, what you said there, I just have to add to that. I got to do it, and the choice of sports these days is so there's so many sort of thing, isn't it? But it's always been important for me, to see them play a team sport, for that, so the camaraderie, the sort of social teaching they get, the discipline they get from it, and so forth, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that gets undervalued, the non-athletic skills that you pick up, the time management, like being able to get yourself to training on time and to get your recovery in and your food prep as well. Those sorts of things are so important with sport as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's just the stuff on the bit of as well. I was going to go back to more of your story as well, if that's okay, Christy, and just say so that seems like quite a big move over to Ireland, and I was just wondering how that went. Was it difficult to move over to a different country and the culture, and especially around rugby, isn't it? With the level of the game in the States, the level of the game in Ireland.
Yeah, it was a big move. I suppose I was 22 at the time, and ready to take on the world, and I was looking for kind of that next big step in my life, and that's what the move across the ocean brought me, for sure. I'd never been to Europe before, and that was kind of like I touched on earlier. Rugby was that comfort zone, in that I got here and you have that built-in network of friends and family that rugby brings with it. The club that I came to at the time was incredibly welcoming, lifts to training, you'd catch up with the girls for dinner outside of that, and it's something that can't go understated, for sure. But I suppose ultimately I did come over for school. I got my master's in engineering, and that's why I stayed, and it was kind of that was, I suppose, one of those moments that you had asked about before, where I wasn't maybe 120% dedicated to rugby. I had kind of taken a back step on it, and I realized at the time that I was able to do both. And that's something that playing rugby in Ireland has been so good for me in the past year, is that there's so many resources and so many structures in place that you are able to find that perfect fit for what you're looking for. And I was able to, I suppose, get more involved and get more serious about it. And that's when I began to become involved in the Leinster squad and realized that I had that fire in the belly to get really involved and to advance my rugby as high as it can be.
So when you joined the Leinster squad, then was there an initiation that you had to go through? Because we've all joined clubs and there's been an initiation, and I'm assuming there's something in the women's game as well, but it'll be very women orientated. Is there an initiation?
Not, I suppose, team bonding, maybe. Initiation, maybe not. No, I do. I love Leinster because it's such a short time that you have together as a team. There was one year where we had a 5-game series, but for the most part, for the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a 3-game series. And so it's this really distilled rugby environment where you come in together, you have a short time to perform, so you have to get to know each other really quick and really fast. So like it takes a different kind of shape each year. But I just remember, I suppose that year I was kind of taken back, just taking it all in and soaking it all up. But just sitting around, and we did why are you here? That I don't know if any of you guys have done that before, but just to like get that why from everybody. Why are we all on the pitch? What are we all doing here? What paths of lives are we all coming from that's bring us here today? And I suppose that was a very powerful team bonding exposure at the start of my career with Leinster.
Fantastic. So you're on day one of camp, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah. So I suppose we came together last week, but this is day one of match week. So it's very exciting. There's definitely a buzz in camp. We're all getting ready now.
All buzzing, for that long trip to Cardiff. And how's preparation going for that?
It's been great. And this comes back to what you're saying about how it's grown so much in the last 12 months. Last Six Nations was my first exposure to the Irish setup, and it's completely different this year again, which is both exciting and also, kind of keeps you on your toes to see what's coming next. But this year we had the really great opportunity of playing in the Celtic Cup. So we've been to Cardiff, we've got to play in the stadium that we're going to be playing in this weekend. And I think that bit of familiarity with even the procedures that we're about to go into gives you that kind of mental prep that you wouldn't maybe have had last year going into the tournament.
Okay. Are there many new faces in the squad this year?
Yeah, there are, and it's really exciting to see them come through because a few of them I played with or against in the interprovincial series. So to see them get their opportunity and to bring that freshness into the game is really exciting.
Oh, excellent. Happy days. And go on, Lee, have you got a question there?
Well, I was going to say, who do we need to... Unfortunately, being a bloke, we don't pay much attention to stuff like I don't know most of the. I still get confused between tighthead and loosehead, and I played the game for 30 years. Genuinely, I do. So we don't have the level of exposure to the women in the game that we should do. We don't know who's who. So who should we be keeping an eye out for? And like who's coming through? Who's the really experienced lot, and give us a rundown of who we need to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, so it's really exciting because we do have a pretty good balance of that senior leadership roles. Nicola Friday was great last Six Nations. She's going to bring that same kind of sharpness and focus that we need from our captain. So I'm really excited to have her leading us again. And then I suppose looking close to home, looking at my position, we have two really, really new props in the game, Niamh O'Dowd and Cy McGrath, who, it's been such a pleasure to train with them for the past couple of weeks and see them grow and come on and give me that bit of competition that you need as a prop to keep you on top and sharp with everything that you're doing. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do as we go into the Six Nations. And then, I suppose a few people who stick out to me in the backs, they've definitely made a really good impression on the women's game so far this year, is in the interprovincials, then also in the Celtic Cup. Dan O'Brien and Aoife Dalton, they've definitely brought that kind of that fresh blood into the game, and they're looking to kind of attack the Six Nations as we go into it.
And who's your roommate?
Niamh O'Dowd. She's actually not here today. She's down at the exact table. I sent her away. But yeah, so they've ruined the two props together, the loosehead and the tighthead. So we hopefully will have great scrum dreams tonight.
See, that would still confuse me. You could put a tighthead and a loosehead in a room, and I'd still go, which one of you is number one and which one of you is number three?
Lefty loosey, righty tighty. You can remember.
I love it.
Why has nobody ever explained it like that to me before?
Brilliant. And
what are you most looking forward to about this tournament?
I think so I said this to the girls before we went into the Leinster campaign. I suppose the week before everything kicks off, you get to have the dreams. Like nothing has happened yet, so everything can happen. I could score a hat-trick in first match. Like you don't know until you know. So that sitting on the cusp of the Six Nations, that what if we got the Grand Slam? What if we go out there and we smash it? Like that's really exciting to see what we can do with it. Now, of course, we start with the first step, which is showing up, putting the boots on the ground in Cardiff and playing the 80 minutes there, which is going to be tough, no doubt. They brought it to us last year. It was a really competitive game. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way at the time. So I think looking at this weekend, that's our biggest focus as we train this week.
And you say obviously Wales brought it last week. A lot of preparation. I see there's now 25 full-time contracts within the Welsh women's squad. Is that the similar situation to Ireland now?
Do you know, I'm not sure what the numbers are at the moment, but last November they started offering contracts, and it's really exciting to see girls be able to devote all of their time to the sport, because that's something that I think we all dream that we can do. And it's going in that direction of seeing the resources being put in the game and contracts being taken up, that is just going to grow kind of the excitement around the sport and the quality of it and the execution.
Yeah, it just gives you that chance to compete properly then, doesn't it? You're not going to be second best to anyone then. It's an equal playing field.
Yeah.
Which I think it should be the same, men, women, all round, to be honest. But just going back to the rugby side of things, who has been your toughest opponent on the other side of the scrum?
Ooh,
could it be Irish? Could be English? Well, preferably not English. Could be Welsh.
Well, I suppose if it can be Irish or English,
anyone you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it could be Irish or English, I might say Lindsay Peat, and if only because I came to Ireland, she was my direct competition. So I've had to fight against her for a good number of years, and she definitely earned the green jersey that she was in for as long as she was. Last year, the Six Nations, I will say the English pack was just a step up for me. It was that I remember the first scrum of the game where you just kind of stand up and you're like, whoa, like, here we go. You take that, like, that second to check in with yourself, and you're like, all right, here we go now. So that was such an exciting step up in the sport. So I suppose I'll give it to the English pack at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take it for now.
That's the point about the contracts, isn't it? Like, because the English have been they've been professional for a while, isn't it? And a full squad of professionals, so they've been able to reach those heights and what have you, isn't it? And the rest of the home nations, and of course other parts of the world, sort of thing, have been playing a little bit of catch up. So it'll be good to see more and more sides have that opportunity to be able to train full time and then see how they stand in.
But this is what I like about the women's game when compared to the men's game. Whenever you talk to a woman player, they'll talk about the effect that they have all the way down the system. They'll talk about little girls joining the game, and it just seems to be a lot more. You're all in this together. Do you know what I mean? Is that how it feels to be inside the sport? Or
yeah, I suppose for myself 100%. Like I love getting involved at the lower levels. I've really enjoyed the coaching that I've done at Blackrock, and it does give you that sense of family and community. That is one of the reasons I've always loved rugby, and I think I always will love rugby. It's such a unique sport in that the on the field and off the field culture is so different. On the field, you're willing to have it out with somebody and go to ground or whatever, and then afterwards you can have a pint and be best mates. So that kind of culture perpetuates itself from the top down to the bottom, and it's something I've taken an active role in, and I think is so important in the women's game. Just to give the girls the resources and the opportunities. Like it was a silly thing, but one day we went into the gym with the 10-year-olds, and they were lifting 1 kg dumbbells, but that's not something I would have been able to do as a 10-year-old. I wouldn't have had those opportunities. So it is exciting to see that kind of filter down.
Well, that's right. I mean, just from a person. Sorry, hey, baby.
I've been in the gym with you. I've seen you struggle with those 1 kgs. I mean, you keep at it, fella.
In the gym, I think there's a pub called the Gym, I think. But like going back to Blackrock, obviously, you trained my daughter Lucy there, but that's really inspired her now. She's coming into Cardiff and she absolutely loves rugby, and she's now training with Cardiff Harlequins girls team under 14s, although she's only 11.
That's incredible. Wow. Good for her.
Hopefully she'll get a couple of games next month for under 12s, but then she steps up to under 14s because there isn't an under 13s. But these girls come from all over the valleys to play for this club. So it's a breadth from all walks of life, and they're all there together. Like you said, it's the I've just lost the word. It's just that camaraderie together and being confident around each other and learning from each other. I just think it's fantastic for them. And it's certainly, it's turning her into a different open-minded person. You know, she's getting that confidence. She's being able to talk more. She's coming more out of herself. And I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Sport is so important for that confidence. And again, like I would have been a heavier kid. So like soccer was never going to be my sport. You know, athletics was never going to be my sport. So if I had that opportunity to play rugby from a younger age, you know, you get the exposure to different people and different mindsets that I think can only help you grow as a teenager and then into adulthood as well.
Okay. So if you weren't a prop and you could be any other position, which position would you play?
Jesus, I love propping. I'll be honest with you.
Fair enough.
I was on the outside half.
yeah. Instead of tighthead, I'd be loosehead. No, I don't. I'd say it'd be fun to be a flanker. I'd say you'd have good crack. Just you'd have a little bit more license and a little bit more energy because you're not holding up the front row.
Absolutely. And which obviously you got the games coming up now, starting with Wales. Which match or which ground are you particularly looking forward to coming into play in, and which sort of gives you the best atmosphere to feed off at those? I know it's going to be pretty full house there at the Arms Park. I'll be going with the family, but I know it's going to be a pretty big crowd there.
Yeah. I'm to be honest, I suppose because this is day one of match week, I've completely narrowed my focus into this weekend. So I'm just absolutely buzzing for the match this weekend. I think it will be really good. Both of our home matches this year are in Musgrave down in Cork. And that was a really good memory for us last year playing against Italy. That was a great win for us. And the crowd there was, it was definitely the 16th man on the pitch. The crowd was phenomenal. So it'll be exciting to have that same buzz because they are our two hardest matches potentially this year will be against down at our home stadium. So it'll be great to have numbers out to kind of buzz us up and get us going.
Yeah, it must be an amazing feeling having all those people in the crowd just cheering you on and pushing you over the line. You know, I can't think of any other buzz that you get. It's just fantastic.
I'm sort of hoping that the crowd won't be pushing you over the line on Saturday. I just want to interject and say, well, I'm eventually Could you speak a little bit about the Welsh side and how you view them? And
so we had the opportunity to play against them in the Celtic Cup, and it was a slightly different team than it was a different team than we would have saw in the Six Nations last year. But they're an incredibly physical side. I remember from the Six Nations last year, they definitely put it up to us at ruck time and our scrums like that. That's definitely something we want to go into this weekend is I suppose to set our marker in the set piece, because I think obviously, again, maybe a bit biased, but I think a game, the tone of a game is set by your team's set piece. So absolutely. I think, we have a massive respect for the Welsh side when it comes to that. So I think it'll be exciting to see how much our prep is going to turn into, good competition and good fight.
Yeah.
So how much of a positive feeling is coming now from like the men's game, the under-20s? How has that changed the women's camp for you this year then?
Yeah, I think just to see the success and see it so close to home does definitely give you that extra kind of pep in your step. Like we get to see, we're using the same facilities as the men, so we get to see them coming in and out doing similar things that we're doing, doing their morning mobility, checking in with the medical team, going about their wellness check-ins and all that kind of stuff. And you get that sense of, we're all doing the same work. Like we can be there too, and we can fight to win those big matches and to make the big steps forward. So it definitely it's nice to have them around. Definitely gives us a smile and something to be proud of in camp.
See, I was hoping you were going to say, yeah, we have nothing to do with them. We don't like them. We don't want them. Basically, we're all stuck now.
Completely avoid them,
Now, when you're working off the same system, it's got to give you a bit of, like, that system works, don't you? It's, so you just kind of go with it. I think everybody else is looking at Ireland at the minute with a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of, not how do we copy it, but how do we?
No, we're not, because we know the World Cup's coming up, and they won't get past the quarter final.
You can't be saying that now.
I'm always optimistic about Wales' chance, Chris. If you ever hear this pod again, you're optimistic I can be.
Yeah.
And you'll hear the rest of us
against Wales. Honest to God, even if, no matter who we're playing, yeah.
Carwyn was the only one to predict a Welsh win against France. Anyway, I think you could have gone anywhere, and he was the.
I said Wales would score 29 points, and they scored 28.
Yeah,
that's pretty good optimism.
That's all right. I won't mention the French score. I predicted.
Don't mind that. You have to focus on your own game.
Exactly. Go on, Reece.
Just going to ask. We've talked a lot about the players coming through and the rise of the women's game in that respect, and the professionalism coming into it and what have you. And we just touched on the point of the sort of the wider system. I was just wondering, are we seeing the same sort of influx of sort of coaches and so forth, and the backroom staff in the women's game as well?
Yeah, I think that's something, now, again, last year was my first Six Nations, but I think that's something that the Irish team have always been quite good at, is the backroom staff. Even last year and in years past, having the people there looking after the girls in as professional an environment as it could have been, even though it wasn't professional at the time. And now that professional contracts have started to be offered, you see those people, becoming more permanent and full-time, but they were always there, so it's good to see them kind of being brought on in that full-time capacity as well, because it just shows that we're all moving in the same and the right direction.
Oh, fantastic. And could there be a coaching future with you after Blackrock? And
I love coaching the middies. I don't know, I'll stray too far from the middies.
See, when I used to coach the juniors, so I used to coach from under sevens, and I stayed
during the war.
Back in the day.
But I've said to everyone about coaching, if you go and coach under sevens, and particularly that first session of the season where they've never seen, they've seen the ball, but do you know what I mean? It's like their first big step, and you just see the look on their faces, whether they're boys or girls, it doesn't matter. And the first time they get the ball in their hand and they run forward, and they're almost doing their own commentary and that kind of stuff, it's just one of the most pleasurable things in coaching. And then you follow those players through, and they go up and all of that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't go and do it again, because it gives me more grey hair that first season. But it is a really, really nice thing to do.
Rewarding.
It's so good. And so I last August in our Japan summer tour, I tore my bicep. So I was out for 4 months, and during that time, it's a lot of rehab, it's a lot of time spent on your own in the gym. But then I had the opportunity to get really involved in the minis team, and they're just pure excitement for the game is what kept, because it can be quite hard when you're rehabbing and trying to just stay on the right path and, cross your T's, dot your I's. But having the girls there and be so excited about doing little things like passing drills, or, I remember one particular session, I gave them a choice at the end of the session. I said, do you want to work on kicking, passing, or sprinting? And they were all like, sprinting. And I was like, what? But they just love it, and they love doing it and getting excited about it, and that helps me as a player. And eventually one day when I hang up the boots, I'm sure I will stay involved as I can. Just be excited about the sport.
I had one session with my little ones. It was close to Christmas, and I said something similar, right? How do you want to finish the game? And it had been raining, like heavy rain. and there was a big puddle at the end of the pitch. And I didn't even get the chance to say, no, don't go and do it. And they just, all of them dived in it. And then they legged it one way to the parents. And I went and hid under a tree over the far side until all the parents had gone. It's one of the joys of being 7 with diving in a muddy puddle is like the best thing ever. It just, yeah.
Absolutely.
He's
I don't
still
know if
doing it
that
now.
only applies to 7-year-olds. Yeah.
I got to do my own washing now. It's no fun.
Okay, Christy, listen, we know you're busy. You've got obviously a big week ahead. So just one final thing. The Six Nations table for the women's 2023. Where will Wales end up? I'm not going to ask you where Ireland will end up. Because I don't want to put that pressure on you.
Let's see. I'd say we'll go for us and Wales at the top of the table. It'll be points differentials.
Happy days, I'll take that.
We'll just edge them out.
Yeah, that optimism, I love it. It's rubbing off. Listen, Christy, thank you very much for coming on the pod. We wish you all the best in the Six Nations, and we hope you score a hat trick on the weekend. But hopefully we'll score 4.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Take care.
Oh, yes. Thanks so much for having me on. Thanks a million, guys.
Ta-da, bye-bye.
So she was really great to talk to, wasn't she? It's really nice to have a woman player on, and just really, really knows the game. It's fantastic, wasn't she?
Yeah.
It was great to talk to. Great to get their insight as well.
She says she just said, hopefully that was all right. Thanks so much for having her on.
Good. Yeah. She's fantastic.
And the story as well, isn't it? From like that coming from the States, and settling in Ireland and breaking into the Irish team and stuff like that.
And she didn't pick up a ball until she was 18. So if there's girls out there listening that haven't picked up a ball yet, it's what an inspiration. Pick it up when you're 18, and then 10 years later you're playing in the Six Nations as captain as Leinster. So fantastic. So Carwyn, you said you're going to the game on Saturday. Yeah, you're going to go.
I am. Well? Yeah, me and the familia. We're going to the match and in the North Stand there, and they'll be cheering on our girls.
So if anyone wants to join you, what's the ticket situation?
Obviously WRU ticketing website, or I know Cardiff Rugby are doing them on their website as well, and it's £5 for adults. £5 for children, £10 for adults. So, come and fill the stand and cheer on our girls, guys.
Yeah, I think we need to. We need to get
I'm afraid I'm going to be in Liverpool watching my daughter. I'm going to be supporting Wales, but in athletics.
Happy days.
Good one, man. So don't forget what I said about the t-shirt, about the vest. That first vest is just the best thing.
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. But I'll be keeping an eye on the women's game.
So I'm willing to bet Carwyn has still got his international vest pinned up somewhere, haven't you? Didn't you? You got a Welsh vest for javelin, didn't you?
No, I was third, mate. Third in Wales.
You were third?
Yeah.
I didn't get one either. I was second in discus. What a pair of failures we were.
I know.
I thought you had a Welsh
I was
vest.
sat on my backside trying to escape the games master. Rugby saved me, boys,
Right, on that one, gents. Enjoy your rugby this weekend. Women's Six Nations is going to be absolutely superb this year. We will do loads more with it over the coming weeks. So, yeah, enjoy that, gents. And I shall catch up with you again on Monday. All the best.
All the best, guys.
Ta-da,
Enjoy the
lads.
weekend. Ta-da.
Thank you for listening to the Wrap Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. Please do rate us and tell your friends, as it really helps us to grow and get better. We'll be back next week with more of the same, and until then, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.